Good morning. Thank you all for joining me. We'll get started in just a moment. As a reminder, when you are entering from the waiting room, please do remain on mute unless or until you are testifying before the board. Good morning. This is a hearing before the licensing board for the city of Boston. Today is Tuesday, October 21st, 2025. Today's hearing is being held pursuant to temporary amendments to the open meeting law. That is what allows us to meet virtually. Today's hearing is being recorded and will be posted to the City of Boston's website. Before I review procedural matters, I will introduce Chairwoman of the Board, Kathleen Joyce.
Good morning. My name is Kathleen Joyce, Chair of the Boston Licensing Board. Today I'm also joined by Commissioner Kiana Saxon and Commissioner Liam Curran.
Thank you. Please ensure that your audio and visuals are working properly if you will be providing testimony this morning. We'll call each item in the order that it appears on this morning's agenda, with one exception. Item number 1 will not be heard this morning. It has been rescheduled at the request of the licensee. After I call each item, I will ask who is present on behalf of the licensee, who is present on behalf of the Boston Police Department, and whether there are any other individuals with firsthand knowledge of the alleged incident who wish to testify. I will then swear in all parties. After that, the police report will be read into the record, and the licensee or their representative will have the opportunity to make a brief statement, followed by questions by the chair and commissioners. All testimony will be limited only to those individuals with firsthand personal knowledge of the alleged incident. Once again, item number 1 has been continued and rescheduled at the request of the licensee. We will therefore be calling item number 2, Dunboy Inc., doing business as MJ O'Connor's Irish Pub, located at 27 Columbus Ave. Date of the incident, May 25th, 2025. Assault and battery, employee on patron in violation of Mass General Laws, Chapter 138, Section 64, and Chapter 265, Section 13A. Who's present on behalf of the licensee?
Good morning, Attorney Green, Madam Chair, members of the board. Excuse me, Dennis Quilty, attorney representing the licensee with me this morning, Mike Carlisle and Des Sherry, both of the licensee entity. Good morning.
Good morning, and I see Mr. Carlisle and Mr. Sherry. Thank you. Who's present on behalf of the Boston Police Department?
Good morning, Sergeant Detective John Fitzgerald, Area A1, representing the Boston Police Department.
Thank you, Sergeant Detective. Are there any other individuals with firsthand knowledge of the alleged incident who wish to testify? Can you all please raise your right hand? Mr. Carlisle, there we go. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
I do.
Thank you. Sergeant Detective Fitzgerald, if you could please read the report into the record for the board.
Okay, incident number 252-041-683. At about 12:42 a.m. on Sunday, May 25th, 2025, Officers Roca and Drew were assigned to patrol the area of 20 Park Plaza on a Code 19. This assignment was a response to heightened security around the Jewish community Israeli consulate. While on patrol, officers were flagged down by a concerned citizen reporting somebody with a knife in front of MJ O'Connor's, located at 27 Columbus Ave. Also assisting on scene were Officers Kinnett, Spellman of the 102, the Lockwood, the 426, and Ribeiro and Haran. The officers drove around the block to 27 Columbus Ave. Upon arrival, they observed a staff member from MJ O'Connor's actively restraining a male on the ground. The staff members stated that the individual was in possession of a knife, and for safety of all parties, to conduct a thorough investigation, the suspect, identified as Frank Michael Adabu, was immediately placed into handcuffs. He was pat down and frisked for weapons, which yielded negative results. Officer Drew spoke with the 3 employees of MJ O'Connor's, Ahmad Suleiman, David Sullivan, and John Lloyd. They reported that the suspect had repeatedly attempted to enter the restaurant, appearing heavily intoxicated. When denied entry, the suspect became aggressive and physically assaulting the staff. One of the employees observed a chrome-colored object on the ground, which they believed to be a knife. Fearing for their safety, the employees kicked the object away and with the assistance of other staff members, physically restrained on the ground and the excuse me, the suspect till officers' arrival. Officers conducted a search of the area for the reported chrome object, which they were unable to be found. Officer Roker and Abadou spoke with Mr. Abadou, who claimed that he was assaulted by 8 individuals without provocation. He stated that he was staying at 212 Stewart Street and was in Boston for the weekend watching his son's lacrosse game at Gillette Stadium the following day. Denied ever possessing a knife. Officer Roker observed Mr. Abadou had visible blood around his nose and mouth, appeared to have difficulty speaking. Due to his injuries, EMS requested to the scene. EMS evaluated Mr. Abadou on scene and later transferred him to Tufts Medical Center for further evaluation. And that's the extent of the report.
Thank you very much. Attorney Quilty, would you like to address the alleged incident?
Yeah. Thank you. If I may, Detective, excuse me, did you file a licensed premise inspection notice?
I did, sir.
You did. And in that document, it indicates that police were called, and by whom? It's Desmond Sherry, who's the employee who's with us today. Is that correct?
Correct.
And you also indicated that the management cooperated with the police.
They did, yes.
Okay. And to your knowledge, sir, my information is that this gentleman approached and was not let in when he first attempted to get into the establishment because staff considered that he appeared to be quite intoxicated. They basically told him he couldn't get in, asked him to leave. He wouldn't leave. And then he got into an altercation with the staff people. Is that what you understand to have happened?
That's how we understand it, yes.
Okay. And the excuse me, staff did call 911, cooperated with you, and was it the knife or any such thing ever found?
There was no knife found, and yes, I think the officers were flagged down and 911 was called almost simultaneously.
Okay, all right. And did you interface? We have Mr. Carlisle and Mr. Sherry with us today. Did you interface with Mr. Sherry? I presume you did. You knew you had his name for calling the police.
Yes, I did.
Okay. Thank you, sir. I have no further questions.
Thank
I may just briefly, Madam Chair, ask Mr. Sherry to get on the screen here.
Yes.
Des, there you are. Des, just state your name for the record and your responsibilities at the licensee premises.
It's Des Sherry. I'm the general manager here at the licensed premises.
Okay. And Des, on the night in question, did you were you around? Were you there when this incident occurred?
I was present, yes.
And did you call 911 as a result of what you saw this gentleman trying to do?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And then you stood by and cooperated with the police?
Yes.
Okay. The board may have some questions for you, sir. Hold on for us.
Okay.
Thank you. And Madam Chair, I just want to confirm, I believe we provided video of this incident as well as it was provided to BPD.
Yes, so the video was received. It has been shared with the board and placed on file. Great. With that, we'll see if there are any questions at this time. Chairwoman Joyce.
Excuse me. Thank you. So watching the video, the patron, I'm guessing, is he's the one wearing the white baseball cap backwards?
Correct, yes.
Okay, and about 4 minutes or so into it, we see, or before, he's like approaching the door, even before that, I guess. Can you talk me through the video? Because what I'm looking at quickly is staff wearing black uniforms. I see at least one push. I see them going behind a truck with the guy falling to the ground. I do see them look to pick something up on the ground and kick it. So is there anyone here that can walk me through the video and what happened? Because looking at this, I don't see him attacking. I don't see him assaulting the staff at all. I'm just trying to figure out if the response is appropriate.
I think I can't speak to it. I wasn't there, obviously, but Mr. Carlisle may be able to, or Mr. Sherry, I'm not sure. Our reports are that he basically pulled the door open, and basically our fellows thought the guy was attacking them at that moment in time because they'd already asked him to leave multiple times.
Do you
And
have internal reports from this incident? Again, the video has no sound, so I see your staff pushing, throwing the guy to the ground. So I'm just curious what I'm missing. And I appreciate the video because it's helpful, but sometimes your internal reports are more helpful too.
Mick, can you respond to that? I do not know. I do not have any internal reports.
I don't believe an internal report exists, but in my conversations with Des, I believe there was back and forth verbally with our staff and the individual. Then the staff went inside, closed the doors to kind of bar entry, and he managed to rip the door open, and that's when they came out.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Excuse me. Hello. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Excuse me, ma'am. Who are you?
Yes, they gave me the
We cannot hear anything you're saying, ma'am. Your audio doesn't work. We are right now in the middle of a hearing on MJ O'Connor's. If you are here to testify on that matter, you will need to identify yourself.
My name is Michelle Jones, and I have a case against Mr. Simmons, and I believe they sent me the wrong information in mail with the wrong meeting ID.
Okay, this is the licensing board for the city of Boston. If you would like to call our office, if you think there is something that you received incorrectly here, I don't believe there's anything else why you would be here. You can call our office 617-635-4170. Someone will be able to help you.
You went a little too fast. I'm sorry.
617-635-4170.
Okay, thank you. So just in case, my name is Michelle Jones, so to be noted in case.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Jones. We will return to the hearing regarding MJ O'Connor's. Chairman Joyce, do you have any further questions?
I think so. And maybe the questions are for Mr. Sherry, or for Mike Carlisle. So there was a back and forth verbal argument outside. Staff went inside, closed the door. The man came in and opened the door. Do these staff members of yours, do they all still work there? Like, did you see any issues with this? Did you have any follow-up afterwards? Did you retrain them? What I'm seeing calls into question some of the perhaps operations that are going on there. So I'm trying to give you an opportunity to walk us through this.
So you mean, did we retrain people after this, or?
No, do you think that the force that was used against this one single individual was appropriate by your staff? A verbal argument in opening the door, was it appropriate?
We did talk to the staff, but they thought that this individual did have a knife at the time.
Okay.
It is right behind our door is behind that tree, so it is a little hard to see everything that had happened from that individual who tried to pull the door open.
And what was the object? It sounds like from the police report, it was later determined not to be a knife, but I can see in the video that they thought there was something there. What was that object to be determined to be afterwards?
I am not sure what the police determined that to be, but I'm not sure. I was there with the police when they were looking around underneath the cars, but I'm not sure what they may have put into their report.
Okay, and so your testimony today is that your staff thought there was a knife?
Correct.
Okay.
And that's why when I called, I put that on the call that it was a knife.
Okay, that makes sense.
The report does, Madam Chair, there's appears to be a second report. Suspect, because this is the police report, became aggressive and began physically assaulting the staff. One of the employees observed a chrome-colored object on the ground, which they believed to be a knife. Fearing for their safety, the employee kicked the object away and, with the assistance of other staff members, physically restrained on the ground until the arrival of the police. Officers conducted a search, but were unable to locate the item.
Yeah, no, I saw that. I appreciate that for pointing that out. Do any of the police officers that may have been there that night, can they add any color to, what was on the ground or what they thought was a knife? No.
And
Okay. I might have more questions afterwards, but I will turn it over to Commissioner Saxon and Commissioner Curran.
My question is, in the video, as he's in the doorway, there's one employee who initially pushes him out. Who was that?
That was Ahmad Suleiman.
Okay, and is he with us?
He is not.
All right, why is he not with us today?
Well, I can tell you that I met with these gentlemen before the hearing, and since Mr.
Why isn't he here? Because he's the one who has the direct testimony of what was going on in that doorway between him and the potential patron, the attempting patron, right?
Well, I did not know that until 10 seconds ago. So when I told these guys who should be at the hearing, it was Des Sherry who made the call to the police, and Mick, who's basically in charge of operations. I didn't say don't bring anybody else. I just said I've read the reports. You guys are the most important players here, so make sure you're both on board.
I mean, to me, the most important player is the person with personal knowledge of how this kicked off.
Okay. Yep. Sorry, then that's on me.
Yeah.
I want to.
I mean, there's nothing in the police report about a knife being identified in the doorway. It was when the patron, or the potential patron, I'll say, went to get something on the ground, which is several moments after a lot of pushing and shoving. He's pushed out of the doorway, he's pushed down the street, and then he's pushed down onto the ground into the front of a car. According to the police report, the idea of a knife came up when this guy bent down, which is after he got back up from being pushed to the ground. And then he goes to bend down to the ground, apparently to retrieve something. And according to the police report, that's when the threat of a knife was identified.
Actually,
am I getting that right?
No. Actually, in the first paragraph of the police report, officers were flagged down by a concerned citizen reporting a person with a knife in front of MJ O'Connor's. That's the first mention of a knife. Concerned citizen, not
that's a mention of that. Hold on. That's a mention of a knife. It doesn't identify when the knife was identified. According to the statements of the employees, the moment they thought they saw a knife was when this guy went down to the ground to pick something up. The concerned citizen doesn't say this guy had a knife, he was brandishing it before he ever approached MJ O'Connor. The concerned citizen doesn't say when the knife was identified or why they believe he has a knife. The concerned citizen could have been responding to the statements of the employees, like, this guy has a knife.
Yeah, I don't know that. It just says flagged down by a concerned citizen.
Yep, but it doesn't say when the knife was identified or how it was identified, right?
Well, the following sentence says the staff member stated that the individual was in possession of a knife.
Yeah.
Clearly, somebody thought the guy was in possession of a knife. I don't know whether he was or wasn't, but clearly.
Okay, do we have anyone who can testify to when the knife was observed or the potential knife?
Other than the two people that are with us today, I don't have anybody else.
Yeah. All right, I think that's all I have. Thank you.
So, Jesus Christ.
This might have been mentioned before, but do you?
I'm sorry. Is that Attorney Quilty?
Oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a report here of a citizen.
Jesus Christ.
People supposed to say, "Oh my God, there's no knife." I mean, what is your line of questioning about? They thought the guy had a knife. I don't know what
my line of questioning goes to when they thought he had a knife, because the way I'm reading the police report is they thought they saw a knife when the guy went down to the ground to pick something up. And that is not the moment they started assaulting him. They started battering him and assaulting him well before that moment. So I need a witness who can tell me when they thought they saw a knife. You don't have that witness. The notices for hearings clearly state that we want witnesses who have personal knowledge of the facts of the matter.
And the two people before you today do.
I want to jump in here for a minute. No disrespect, Commissioner Curran, but I think what might be missing here, Mr. Sherry, you're the one who, did you call the police, or were you the one that went and flagged the police officer down?
I made the phone call.
So someone on your team told you that there was a guy outside with the police with a knife?
Correct.
Okay, so you called, but also somebody else there went and flagged down the police. Are the police officers here still? I'd love to hear from them.
I think it's the detective, ma'am, who did the
Yeah,
follow-up.
Yeah,
sorry,
Sergeant Fitzgerald.
Sorry, Detective.
Yes. Sorry, Sergeant Detective Fitzgerald. Yeah, I wasn't there that evening, but from what I can ascertain is the officers were doing a code 19 at the Israeli consulate, which is right next door, and they were flagged down, but there was also a 911 call at the same time. So they were going around the corner to investigate what was going on after somebody had flagged them down, but there was also a 911 call that was entered by
Okay, so
manager.
So it sounds like two people reported a person with a knife, the person that flagged down the police that were around the corner, and Mr. Sherry who called.
Yes, according to the report, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We can find out, Madam Chair, from the individuals, if the individual is still in the employ of the licensee premises. We can try to get a statement from Mr. Suleiman, or there are three people named as employees: Ahmad Suleiman, David Sullivan, and John Lloyd. The officer spoke with. So, and again, this says what they believe to be a knife, but we'll try to get reports from those three individuals and provide them. See who
Sure.
saw what and when they saw it.
Because they're definitely looking at something on the ground and kicking it. It just seems like missing information. The other thing that would be helpful, because it is employee on patron, is a copy of your training or security and operations plans for us to have on file. What we're trying to do is to see if the response was appropriate to what was described. And a video without like firsthand knowledge is sometimes difficult. We're led to jump to conclusions, but Mr. Sherry is saying what he heard. I think what is also missing, other than the firsthand knowledge, is a copy of your training plan, so we know how you train your staff. Like, how are they trained to respond to something like this?
Okay.
Like, what are the steps they put into place?
Okay. We will provide that. And I just would make one final statement, is that throughout the police report, the language about the knife is presumed to be, thought to be, what they thought was. I mean, it's in the heat of the moment. I don't know what it was. It was something that they saw that they thought was a knife, and perhaps it was, perhaps it wasn't. We don't know. But we'll get the training manual, training information, and we'll inquire of the three employees who are named as to whether they can provide any further information about what they physically saw vis-a-vis the knife.
Okay.
And we can put that to you in writing.
Thank you. I just want to ask if Commissioner Saxon had any questions.
The Commissioner Joyce was had the question. So it was about the de-escalation plan. So it's included.
Thank you. Are there any further questions from the board at this time? Seeing on the board, will take this matter under advisement, knowing that there is a request for a training plan and for any written statements from the three named employees who may have been present during the day.
Very good. Thank you.
Calling item number 3, Congress Fine Dining LLC, doing business as Lucky, located at 355 to 359 Congress Street. Date of the incident, July 26th, 2025. Assault and battery, patron on patron, in violation of Mass General Laws, Chapter 138, Section 64, Chapter 265, Section 13A. Who is present on behalf of the licensee?
Good morning again. Dennis Quilty, attorney representing the licensee. With me this morning, Sean Sullivan, assistant manager on duty on the night in question, and Emmanuel McDuffie on security staff. Good morning again.
Thank you all very much. Who is present on behalf of the Boston Police Department?
Morning, Officer Samuel Hodge, Boston Police.
Detective Jason Turcott.
Thank you. Are there any other individuals with first-hand knowledge of the alleged incident who wish to testify? Can you all please raise your right hand? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
I do.
I do.
Thank you. Who will be reading the police report into the record?
I believe that'll be me.
Great. You may please proceed.
So incident number 252-061-006, about 10:25 p.m. on Saturday, 7/26/25. Officer Hodge and the Fox 602 Frank responded to a radio call for a person with a knife at Lucky's Lounge, 355 Congress Street, South Boston. Assisting on scene with a Fox 603 Frank Lewis and Fox 684 Frank Lucchese. Officers were informed by Operations Division while en route that the 911 caller reported a black male suspect had pulled out a knife at the above location and had fled on a blue motorcycle before returning to the premises. Upon arrival, officers observed a black male suspect wearing a gray sweatshirt and black pants on a blue moped with no registration outside of Lucky's Lounge. Officer Lucchese attempted to speak with the suspect, at which point the suspect fled on the moped, driving recklessly on the sidewalk before hopping the curb onto Congress Street and fleeing towards the Seaport District. Officers broadcast the description of the suspect to other C6 units. Lucky's Lounge staff stated to officers that the suspect threatened that, quote, he was going to come back with a gun, end quote, prior to officers' arrival on scene. Lucky's Lounge staff then directed Officer Hodge to a witness, Jacques Corchesny, who stated to the officer that he was inside the establishment when he was approached by the suspect, who was unknown to him, and that they started conversing. The witness stated that the suspect eventually propositioned to, quote, go into business, end quote, with him and sell drugs inside of the establishment. At that point, the witness attempted to break away from the suspect and a shoving match ensued. Friends of the witness, Matthew Marino and Alex Caporletti, victim number one, then intervened and assisted in separating the parties. According to the witness, it was at that point the suspect produced a folding knife and threatened Caporletti. It was also reported that as he was threatening victim number one, the suspect slashed the left hand of Aria Kihoy, victim number two, causing what was reported to be a laceration to the back of her left hand. Once officers were informed that a person had been cut by the knife, they began to check the premise for that victim. Officers were told by Lucky's Lounge staff that she was receiving medical care inside the establishment, but later learned that both victims, Caporletti and Kihoy, had actually left the scene without making themselves known. Officers spoke again to the witness to find contact information for the victims, but he was unable to provide it on scene. He informed officers that the victims were, quote, friends of friends, unquote. The knife, determined to be a folding knife approximately 4 inches in length with a black blade and brown handle, was taken from the suspect during the altercation. The knife was turned over to officers on scene and booked into the C6 evidence locker. As the altercation had occurred inside of the premise, officers requested a Code 35 inspection. The victim 949, Sergeant Detective Johnson, arrived on scene, detecting premise inspection number 004235. During this inspection, the manager of Lucky's Lounge, Sean Sullivan, reported to Officer Lewis that the suspect had left his driver's license behind and had paid his bar tab with a debit card. Officer Lewis took possession of the license bearing the name William Brown IV, Mass driver's license S649-65514, as well as a photocopy of the bar tab bearing that same name. Both the license and the copy of the bar tab were booked into the C6 evidence locker. Officers searched for the suspect to no avail. Body-worn cameras activated. Nothing follows.
Thank you, Officer Hodge. There is a supplemental from Detective Turcott. I don't know if you plan on reading that into the record as well.
Yes, I can go ahead and read that into the record.
Thank you.
On Saturday, July 27th, 2025, Detective Turcott called witness Matthew Marino to discuss the incident which occurred at Lucky's Lounge at about 10:16 p.m. on Saturday, July 26th, 2025. According to Mr. Marino, he observed his friend, Jacques Corchesny, involved in a verbal altercation with another individual who had propositioned Mr. Corchesny to help him sell drugs in the establishment. Mr. Marino, at that time, attempted to break up the altercation, but broke off contact to get the establishment's security staff's attention to the situation. Mr. Marino went on to state that he observed a physical altercation between the suspect and his other friend, Alex Caporletti, and a knife being taken away from the fight. It was at that time that the security staff broke up the physical altercation and separated the people involved. Detective Turcott on Sunday, July 27th, 2025, then spoke with Alex Caporletti, victim number one.
over the phone to discuss the incident which occurred at Lucky's Lounge at 10:16 p.m. on Saturday, July 26, 2025. According to Mr. Caprioletti, he was attempting to separate the suspect from his friend, Jacques Korchesny, when the verbal altercation turned physical, when the suspect pulled a knife out of him while stating, "This is Boston, we cut motherfuckers here." Mr. Caprioletti went on to report that he immediately grabbed the suspect's hand, which was holding the knife, and forced it out of his grip. He raised it up high and passed it along to another friend, Tobias Craner, who brought it over to the bar staff behind the bar. Also, it was at this time that Lucky security staff intervened and separated the individuals involved. I then spoke with Tobias Craner over the telephone and discussed the incident which occurred at Lucky's Lounge. Mr. Craner recounted that coincides with Jacques Korchesny's accounting of the events in the original report, in which the suspect propositioned him to help sell drugs, and a verbal altercation took place, turning physical, when the suspect pulled a knife on his friend, Alex Caprioletti. Mr. Craner went on to give statements which confirmed and verifies the statements recounting the events made by Mr. Marino and Mr. Caprioletti, in which he observes the knife being taken away and helped up by Mr. Caprioletti and him, Mr. Craner, taking it away from the scene of the fight and bringing it to the bar staff at the same time. Security staff became involved. Detective Turcotte on Sunday, July 27th, 2025, then spoke with Elena Cahoy O'Grady, the cousin of victim number 2, Aria Chang, who was named in the original report as Aria Cahoy, over the telephone to discuss the incident. According to Mrs. Cahoy O'Grady, her cousin, Aria Chang, was approached by the suspect prior to the verbal altercation, in which they had a cordial discussion where they exchanged Instagram account information. Mrs. Cahoy O'Grady went on to report that she observed the verbal altercation and physical altercation, and that her cousin Aria Chang also attempted to break up the fight, but being cut on top of the right hand. Mrs. Cahoy O'Grady also reported that she departed Lucky's Lounge with her cousin Aria Chang and proceeded to Lowell General Hospital's emergency room for medical attention. Detective Turcotte, July 27th, 2025, then spoke with the victim, Aria Chang, over the telephone to discuss the incident. Miss Chang also stated to the detective that she met the suspect prior to the verbal physical altercation and had also attempted to break up the fight, helping separate the suspect from the other individuals involved, Korchesny and Caprioletti, not realizing until after security staff had intervened that she was cut on the hand. Miss Chang was able to provide a cell phone photo picture of her wounded hand, which received 8 stitches while she was at the Lowell General Hospital. Video footage provided by Lucky's Lounge Property Management Lions Group IT Jeff Douglas on Monday, July 28th, 2025, corroborates all witness and victims' accounting of the recollections of the events which occurred. Video and still images of the assault and battery with a dangerous weapon, knife, saved and attached to I-252-061-006 case files. There's another supplemental in which I call in Mr. Caprioletti, and I presented him a photo array of the suspects, and he identified the suspects of the photo array, matching the name in which was it the ID that was left at the bar by the suspect, and then the criminal complaint was issued. The suspect, William Brown, did not show up for the arraignment, and there has been a bench warrant issued for his arrest.
Thank you, Detective Turcotte and Officer Hodge. Attorney Quilty, would you like to address the alleged incident?
If I may, excuse me, Detective, the inspection notice indicates that the police were called by management and that management cooperated with the police. Is that your understanding as well?
Yes.
And video was provided to you, and evidence of the individual, including the bar tab and the ID that he left behind, were provided to you. And with those, you were able to conduct a photo array, and the person was identified. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So from all of that, it would appear that management acted appropriately in the circumstances.
Yes, they fully cooperated.
Thank you, Detective. I may just ask, may I ask Mr. Sullivan to come on screen? Sean, are you with us?
Yep, just had to find the mute button. I'm here.
Okay.
Do that. Good morning, everybody.
Thanks. Just state your name for the record and your responsibilities at the licensee premises.
My name's Sean Sullivan. I'm the assistant general manager at Lucky's Lounge.
Okay. And are you familiar with the circumstances of the reports we just read into the record?
I am.
Okay. Can you explain in your words what occurred and what your staff did?
Yeah, I reported to the scene about a minute after the knife was pulled out at the bar area. There was already 2 members of staff there before me or more. And the knife had already been taken away at that point. I followed the suspect outside as he was let out by security, and learned that the knife had been taken away from him. And we then kind of kept an eye on him, surrounded him, and called the cops and waited for the cops to come. The cops came quickly, and I stopped them on the side street so they could sneak up on him. And we went over together to where he was on his motorbike, but at that point he took off.
And so is it did you have your staff call 911?
Yes, that's right. Yep. Me and my supervisor, Manuel McDuffie, we both called simultaneously.
All right. And then were you aware that staff had then provided ID and bar tab and other documents to the BPD?
At that point, we didn't have that information yet. So after the suspect had left the scene, I went back and I looked at the surveillance tapes. I found the time frame from when he could have possibly purchased a drink, and I went through all the signed credit card receipts from that time period. Found a receipt that looks to be matching his drink and the time, and it just so happened that there was an ID left at the bar that matched that signature too.
Okay. And then did you provide those documents to the police as it's indicated in the report?
That's right.
Okay. And to your knowledge, the video surveillance which you observed, was that the video surveillance that was turned over to BPD and to the licensing board?
Yeah, that's right. Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. And if I may just briefly ask you, just stand by, the board may have some questions for you, but may I just inquire of Mr. McDuffie if he's still with us here, I hope?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. And Manny, were you involved in the incident directly?
Not in the incident directly, but I was present as well, as management as well, and was also the manager that called 911 as well.
Okay, so you placed the call yourself?
Yes, I placed the call as well.
Okay, thank you. Did you have anything to add other than what Mr. Sullivan just suggested to us?
Everything that he said is the same information I have as well.
Okay, thank you, sir. Would you both gentlemen please stand by? The commissioners may have some questions for you.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll see if the board has any questions at this time, starting with Chairwoman Joyce.
Thank you. I don't have any questions.
Commissioner Curran, Commissioner Saxon, any questions?
Did the suspect come to the attention of staff at any point prior to the physical altercation beginning?
Not to my knowledge. He seemed like he kind of had it together as he entered the restaurant and had his ID. as he got his ID checked, but he didn't really show any signs of intoxication at that point or anything like that. So he went in fairly unnoticed. He was in the restaurant for a total of about 30 minutes.
Mr. McDuffie, do you have any knowledge of the guy before it turned into a physical altercation?
No, he came in as a normal customer. ID was checked. Usually security will always ask, how you doing, where you're coming from while they're checking IDs, just to kind of gauge the patron. And he seemed fine. Even throughout the altercations, he didn't seem to be intoxicated.
Thank you.
No questions from me. Thank you.
Thank you. If there are no further questions on the board, and the board will take this matter under advisement. Thank you.
No.
Calling item number 4, Broad Street Entertainment, LLC, doing business as Tiki Rock in Oysa, located at 1 India Street. Date of the incident, July 26th, 2025. Patron vandalism in violation of Mass General Laws, Chapter 138, Section 64. Who's present on behalf of the licensee? Do we have anybody present on behalf of Tiki Rock?
Sorry. Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, great. Thank you. If you could please just identify yourself, and we can't currently see you.
Yeah,
Oh, there we go.
Buttons. Sorry about that. My name's Curtis McMillan. I'm the general manager, and I believe Michael Nelson, the head of security, is also in Zoom with us.
Hello?
Thank you. Mr. Nelson, is that you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. Are there any other individuals? Sorry, who's here on behalf of the Boston Police Department?
Sergeant Detective William Gallagher. I can read it. I would say I'm not the author of the report, though.
Thank you, Sergeant Detective Gallagher. Are there any other individuals with firsthand knowledge of the alleged incident who wish to testify this morning? Can you all please raise your right hand? Mr. McMillan, your right hand.
Sorry.
Thank you. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
I do.
Thank you. Sergeant Detective Gallagher, if you could please read the report into the record for the board.
Yes, good morning. I'll be reading a Boston Police report authored by Officer Monique Janarian. At about 9:21 p.m. on Saturday, 7/26/25, Officers Janarian and Theodore, assigned to the 102, responded to a verbal altercation at Tiki Rock at 2 Broad Street. Assisting units were the Victor 923, Sergeant Detective Gallagher, Alpha 103, Canaris and McDonough, Alpha 421, Arroyo, and Alpha 422, Layton and Beaton. Prior to arrival, officers were made aware by Area A1 dispatch that the suspect was a black male wearing a red shirt and had a knife on his waist. Area A dispatch informed officers that the suspect had not taken out the knife nor had made any threats to use it. Upon arrival, officers observed several individuals in front of the main entrance of the aforementioned location, including a black male wearing a red shirt. Officers attempted to speak to the suspect, matching the description later identified as Jeremiah Horn, 2/4/2000, who became aggressive and repeatedly cursed at officers. Officers asked Horn for the knife and then began to immediately pat frisk him due to the nature of the call. It has been known that Horn did not have a knife on his person at that time. Pat frisk. Horn immediately began to pull up pants and get into a fighting stance. Officers immediately gained control of Horn and guided him safely around, placing him in handcuffs. Horn became belligerent and aggressive towards officers while in handcuffs. It should be noted that Horn was very intoxicated. Officers were able to smell alcohol coming from Horn's breath. Bystanders were leaving the immediate area due to Horn's behavior. Horn's behavior became alarmingly towards officers, bystanders, to which they began to take out their cell phones and record the incident. Officer Janarian spoke to the assistant manager of Tiki Rock, Fausto Rodriguez Lopez, who reported that Horn and several individuals were seated inside the restaurant with bottles that were not purchased from the restaurant. Rodriguez Lopez reported that he could not confirm if the bottles were of alcohol. Rodriguez Lopez reported that he asked Horn and several individuals to step outside the restaurant, to which they complied. Rodriguez Lopez reported that he informed Horn and the several individuals that they needed to remove the bottles and they would be welcomed back inside the restaurant once discarded. Rodriguez Lopez reported that Horn became aggressive and punched the door, causing the glass to shatter. Rodriguez Lopez also reported that Horn punched the door. Horn began to march towards him. Rodriguez Lopez reported that he jabbed Horn twice, put him into a headlock in self-defense. Rodriguez Lopez reported that Horn exited the restaurant, but was still in front of the entrance, refusing to leave. Rodriguez Lopez informed Officer Janarian that the surveillance footage would be available upon request. Officer Janarian spoke to security Michael Ingram, who reported that the altercation began over a water bottle. Ingram reported that Horn was being aggressive, informed Horn that he needed to calm down. Ingram reported that Rodriguez Lopez stated that because of Horn's aggressive behavior, he was not allowed back into the restaurant. Officer Janarian asked Rodriguez Lopez if he needed to be evaluated by Boston EMS, to which he declined. Jeremiah Horn was transported to Nashua Street by the Alpha 202. While being transported by the 202 due to Horn's physical size, officers were not able to put a seatbelt on him, resulting in him being on the floor of the wagon. Jeremiah Horn to be charged with disorderly person, resisting arrest, destruction of property. And that is that report. There is a supplemental. Turn to that quickly. On Sunday, 7/27/25, Detectives Hurl spawned Tiki Rock Code 35 and issued violation 037922. Violation was signed for by manager Brandon Lamb. Patron vandalism. All licenses were current and accounted for. Staff was cooperative and stated that they would email video of the incident or save it on a thumb drive if it was too large to send. And those are the reports.
Thank you, Mr. McMillan. Mr. Nelson, would you like to address the alleged incident?
Yes. The patrons there were about 15 of them. They were a dinner party. It was a birthday party. When I approached the table to speak to them, they had water bottles, Poland Springs water bottles, mini bottles, which we don't sell at Tiki Rock. It was stated to me that there could possibly be alcohol in those bottles. So I approached the table and spoke to the said individual quietly because there was music in the background. I leaned over and said to him, "Excuse me," I said, "We don't sell those bottles, so we need to have them removed from the table." At that point, he turned around to me and aggressively said to me, "Why are you singling me out?" I said, "I'm actually not singling you out. You're sitting at the head of the table, and there were 6 or 7 mini water bottles there." I said, "We'd be more than happy to replace those with the water bottles that we do sell at Tiki Rock." And he continued to say to me that I was being loud because I was talking over the music. At that point, I asked him to go to the vestibule with me. When we got to the vestibule, him and one other individual that was in the party, myself and Mr. Gallagher began to explain to him what the policy was at Tiki Rock. And he continued to get loud. We kept diffusing the situation. And when Fausto came over to the door, Fausto said to one of my other security guys, "That gentleman's not allowed back in here. We could smell the alcohol." And we explained to him that if he had continued to be aggressive, then he wouldn't be allowed back in the Tiki. He looked at the manager and then punched the glass, at which point we were like, okay. His friend was apologizing to us the entire time, saying, "I understand." I go, "You do understand it wasn't singling him out. It was just a matter of where he was sitting at the table." He goes, "I get it." He goes, "We're all just trying to hang out and celebrate our friend's birthday party." I go, "I understand that too. Our goal is to just make sure that everybody is safe and has a good time. There's very few policies that we have in place, and this is one of them." once he punched the glass and it became aggressive, myself and the other security officer was at security that was at the door were able to get him outside. It wasn't aggressively, we just talked him out the door. At that point, he had walked outside, he was talking to his friend. He came back to the vestibule where Foster was at the door, and he tried to come at Foster at that point in between himself and Mike, at which time, as what Foster said happened, was he defended himself. And once he grabbed him, then we ushered him back outside. The police were called in the interim of that second incident. And I believe the first one that pulled up, was it you, Officer Gallagher, when you pulled up and he goes, who the fuck are you?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck you, bitch, you fucking pig. And this was this gentleman's attitude the entire time. At that point, as Officer Gallagher said, the rest was in the report as said.
Thank you very much, Mr. McMillan. Anything to add before we move to questions from the board?
No, that all follows exactly what we tracked, especially off of the camera.
Thank you. We will see if the board has any questions at this time, starting with Chairwoman Joyce.
Thank you. I don't have any questions at this time.
Commissioner Curran, any questions?
Do you have the video for us?
I do have the video.
Oh,
yeah, Mike.
I was going to say, I believe I turned the video over to the officer that came to Tiki. I don't know if Curtis has it readily available, but I know that evidence.
Did everybody freeze?
No, we're here.
Okay.
So, Mr. McMillan, is that video you have in your possession?
I do. Yeah, and I can turn that over to you guys. The system is not new. It's very old. So if you guys would like to come get the way we've done it with BPD always is that they just do a phone video of emailing it from the system is just not possible as old as the system is.
Open.
Okay, if that video can't, sorry, Sergeant Detective Gallagher, were you about to say something?
Yeah, we can pick it up tonight. If they're around tonight, I'm in tonight, we can swing by and pick up whatever they.
I'll be there, Mr. Gallagher.
Thank you.
okay. Maybe does the Boston Police already have a copy as well, or? No. All right. Either way, regarding the video, if we are going to pick it up tonight, I think we should have a particular focus on the moments before the approach happened, just as far as foreseeability about whether this patron would be problematic. So not just kind of picking the video up right at that moment where he's the first contact is made, but some amount of time just prior to that as well is helpful. Thank you.
Okay.
Does anyone have any testimony regarding his demeanor as he was coming into the establishment?
Not to my knowledge. They came in as a dinner party. It was a reservation.
I guess I'm picking up on that. How long had the party been there?
If I had to guess, and I'll check, I believe we can check to see what time the reservation actually was. It would have been maybe they had a 7 o'clock reservation and the incident happened between 7 and 8.
Thank you.
And if you know how many drinks he had at the establishment.
Or did you hear the commissioner's question? Looks like Mr. Nelson may have frozen. Mr. McMillan, did you hear Commissioner Saxon's question?
I did. So from the video that I was able to review, it looked like they had only gotten their first drink at the point when the incident happened.
Any further questions from the board at this time? Okay. Thank you. The board will take this matter under advisement. We will await submission of the video that was requested. Calling item number 5, Zaz Restaurant and Catering Corporation, located at 1238 River Street in Hyde Park. Date of the incident, July 20th, 2025. Open after hours in violation of Mass General Laws, Chapter 138, Section 64. And over capacity in violation of Mass General Laws, Chapter 138, Section 64, and Board's Rule 1.03J, 1.06A, and F. Who is present on behalf of the licensee?
I am, owner.
Thank you. If you could just please state your name for the record.
Yes, Audrey Roberts, owner of Zaz Restaurant.
Thank you, Mr. Roberts. Who is present on behalf of the Boston Police Department?
Detective Matthew Manning.
Thank you. Are there any other individuals with firsthand knowledge of the alleged incident who wish to testify this morning? Can you both please raise your right hand? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
I do.
Thank you very much, Detective Manning. If you could please read the report into the record for the board.
Okay, I have 2 reports. I have the initial Boston Police incident report, and I have a supplement. I'm going to begin with the incident report. It's going to be I number 252-058-797. At approximately 2:27 a.m. on Sunday, July 20th, 2025, officers Tacosa and Clement in the Lima 101 Alpha, while patrolling the area of River Street, noticed a large group of people outside the Zaz Restaurant located at 1240 River Street, Hyde Park. The officer noticed a large group of people outside the above premise blocking the sidewalk and playing loud music from their vehicles. The officers attempted to disperse them by activating their blue lights to no avail. Officers did observe a female unknown info citizen who was heavily intoxicated fall backward, almost hitting her head on the curb. The officer advised Boston EMS, to which he stated she was fine and declined their service. Boston Operations was notified, and the Kilo 981 Sergeant Detective Joseph responded to assist. The Kilo 981 Sergeant Detective Joseph spoke to the owner, Mr. Orly Roberts, and checked his licensing. E18 detectives will follow up regarding this incident per the Kilo 981 Sergeant Detective Joseph. For the supplemental report, at about 5:22 p.m. on Saturday, July 26, 2025, Detective Manning, the Lima 802, Detective Galvin, the Lima 808, and Sergeant Detective Robalis, the Lima 982, conducted a licensed premise inspection at the Zaz Restaurant located at 1238 River Street, Hyde Park. On arrival, detectives spoke with Orly Roberts in reference to the incident that happened on Sunday, July 20th, 2025 at about 2:27 a.m. Roberts stated that a private event had taken place at his restaurant earlier in the evening, but when the police arrived, they only found other patrons from other establishments congregating outside his business. Detectives observed the following licenses posted on the wall: the certificate of inspection number 808823 for Zaz Restaurant, Orly Roberts, 1238 Hyde Park Ave, issued on 5/1/2025, which expires on 8/28/2025 with a max capacity of 19. The common vic license LB 12636 issued to Zaz Restaurant and Catering Corporation manager Orly Roberts, capacity 19, closing hour 9:30 p.m. Roberts stated that he received a new closing hour but was unable to produce any documentation indicating the updated hours. Detective Manning reviewed the Boston Transportation camera footage, camera 321 from the River Street and Hyde Park Avenue, camera from 2 a.m. to 2:30 a.m. on 7/20/2025. No large groups were seen approaching the Zaz Restaurant. Digital video request form was completed to preserve this evidence. Detective Manning reviewed the officer's body-worn camera footage which shows a group of people congregating directly outside the Zaz restaurant. Officers spoke with one male who stated that he was a DJ at a private event that evening. Detective Manning observes on body camera the door of the restaurant opening and closing, as well as people exiting the restaurant. Detective Manning also counted 20 people standing directly outside the restaurant in the body-worn camera footage. Following a review of the footage, a licensed premise inspection notice and citation 26386 were issued to Zaz Restaurants Orly Roberts for violations of operating after hours and exceeding the permitted capacity.
Thank you very much. Mr. Roberts, would you like to address the alleged incident?
Yes, good morning, board. So our policy at Zaz, there's 2 matters I want to discuss. We have a cleanup policy at Zaz after each event. Upon those policy, any private events that Zaz is hosting, the guest has to remove all, they got to clean up basically after each event. So we shut the event down. I think the DJ, from when I came in, because I was called in later on that afternoon or later on that night to kind of make sure everyone is out of the premises. When I got called in, the folks that left that were leaving the building, they had gathered outside of my establishment. Upon notice, a lot of their friends came along with their cars, congregating outside. One of my staff told them they have to leave; they can't congregate outside, and they pretty much created an outside experience of my establishment, because there are other establishments on the street, on River Street here, that has events and other operations happening simultaneously. So we told the officers that came in that all those guys, all the patrons, all the people that were outside, that were not part of the event, on the inside of my business, and that it need to be shown to me that these folks were from my event. And so we had a hard time deciphering that. And so that, in moments of that, I looked into the license and what we were posted as, and we were unable to post or to have the required documents. We didn't post it, they were in our files. And at the time, we didn't have it to show that we do have a updated time of closing and so forth. So we told the officers that you could come back at a later time, and I will have it printed and I will have it posted upon further review. And so we end up getting it posted and so on and so forth. But I think that the main thing for me is because we also have the area of River Street. If anyone on here understands, there's a particular area where there's Uber pickup areas. There's other areas where folks kind of like, because further down you can't park on that side, further down the street by the lights. So a lot of folks, there's other businesses that have events during the weekend. They will park on my section of the street. And so it became something where we couldn't control the amount of people that was out there, because they were coming from different direction. And so we told officers one of the things that we're going to do moving forward is make sure have a security or do whatever it takes to make sure that we are ushering folks out of here on time, but also trying to let anyone that's part of this event that we hosting, that they will leave immediately after the event and not hang out outside of the premises to avoid any further issues. But those are the 2 main points I have. And again, a couple of things that we did differently is like I said, we're going to have security, and we posted a new updated license and so forth that we didn't have posted at the time of the event.
Thank you. We'll see if there are any questions from the board at this time. Chairwoman Joyce, any questions?
So just a comment, even with your new closing hour, you are responsible, whether it's your event or a private event, to disperse the crowd at the end of the night. So, and I think you just spoke to that as well. So on this night, it appears there is still a crowd outside at 2:30. You have to be sure as the manager that any and all events, the crowd is dispersed before that. Do you understand that?
Yes, yes, I do, ma'am. I
Okay.
do. Yes.
Okay, that's all I have.
I'm sorry, I just need to confirm a couple of things that I just wanted to be sure about. What is your capacity?
So we have there's two sides of the building. The side for dining is 19 seating capacity.
Uh-huh. And the other side?
The other side is a venue space. So that side is the newest space. During COVID, we had an additional side added to the space. So we pretty much during COVID, what we did was
All right, is that licensed?
No.
the 1240, both sides are licensed.
I don't see anything that says it's licensed. Secretary Green, do we have anything about
I'm
an
looking
additional
right
space
now.
that?
I do not believe there's anything licensed with us at 1240 River Street. The
Yeah,
capacity
have we
of
ever had a hearing to increase your capacity, sir?
No.
Oh, sorry, I didn't hear the question.
Have you ever attended a hearing before us to increase your capacity?
No, this happened during COVID. We decided to add another space to the venue or to the restaurant.
Yeah, that's not licensed. You can't use that as your business under this license.
Okay, but I thought it was amended. I mean, when the inspectors or the anyone that comes in, they've checked both sides of the restaurant.
Well, yeah, we'll take
Yeah.
a look at your license. Even if it was allowed during COVID, it still has to be part of your.
Yeah, I'm looking right now. There's never been an application filed with the board to increase your space or change your layout since your license was initially granted back in 2015. So if you are using an additional space to serve alcohol, that would need to be part of your license. Right now, it's not. You would need to file an application with us. You do not have permission to use anything beyond the 19 capacity in 1238 River Street.
That being said, we can help you and work with you, but you're not allowed to use it right now.
Okay.
Okay, and so additionally, your closing hour is 1 a.m., right?
Yes, correct.
Okay, were you there this evening?
Yeah, I came in at like 11:30 to try to make sure that the guys got out of there after the event at 11:30 p.m.
So you were there from 11:30 on?
Yeah.
Okay, and what time did you clear the premises of patrons?
At 12:45, we told everyone they have to start cleaning up. They were kind of dragging on that, so we had to call the event coordinator to make sure that they clean up the premises.
Okay.
And so that took some time to kind of get cooperation on that regard.
All right, and so this is related, I guess, to the earlier questions. So how many people were you clearing out at 12:45?
12:45, there was approximately, when I got there, I guess they didn't have the expected amount that they invited, but so there were approximately 25 people that was in the building.
Okay, thank you.
Nothing additional. Thank you.
Any further questions from the board at this time?
No.
The board will take this under advisement as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Calling item number 6, Big Night Venues Boston 4 LLC, doing business as Scorpion Bar and Restaurant The Grand, located at 25 Northern Ave. Date of the incident, January 18th, 2025. Serving under 21 alcoholic beverages in violation of Mass General Laws, Chapter 138, Section 3434A, 41, 6464A, and Board's Rule 1.08F. And intoxicated party on premise in violation of Mass General Laws, Chapter 138, Section 64. Who is present on behalf of the licensee?
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board, Attorney Green, Kristen Scanlon for the licensee, and with us on behalf of the licensee, members of their security team, Melton Howard, Charlie Kane, and Matt Allen.
Thank you. I'm just looking for Mr. Kane and Mr. Allen. I do see Mr. Howard If Mr. Allen or Mr. Kane is planning on testifying, there we go. I see Mr. Kane. We need you to come on camera so that we can swear you in. Still just waiting for Mr. Allen if he'll be testifying. Thank you very much. I see all three. Who is present on behalf of the Boston Police Department?
Sergeant Detective Paul Donlin.
Thank you. Are there any other individuals with firsthand knowledge of the alleged incident who wish to testify this morning?
Officer Erin Glavin.
Thank you, Officer Glavin. Can you all please raise your right hand? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
I do.
Thank you. Who will be reading the report into the record for the board?
Sergeant Detective Donlin. I can read it into the record anyway.
Thank you very much.
This is Boston Police Report number 252-004-701. This was authored by Officer Glavin. At about 1:40 a.m. on Saturday, 1/18/25, Officer Glavin and Halloran, assigned to the Fox 112 Alpha, responded to a radio call for an unconscious person at the Grand, 58 Seaport Boulevard, Boston. Patrol Supervisor Sergeant Detective Donlin, Fox 982, responded to the scene. Upon arrival, officers were met with the victim, Vincent Sika, 42205, who was visibly unconscious but appeared to be breathing. Officers were informed by staff that they needed to retrieve a wheelchair in order to assist with removing Sika from the bar area. The officers spoke with two individuals accompanying the victim who stated that they had been drinking alcohol since approximately 12 p.m. that day. The officers were able to identify the two individuals, one of which was Connor Monroe, date of birth 7/11/01, and the other Brady Erickson, date of birth 10/11/04. After speaking with the two individuals, officers were informed that they all met at the above address at approximately 10:30 p.m. Officers were made aware that at least two of the individuals in the group were underage, one being the victim, Sika, and the other being Erickson. The individuals informed officers that the victim had been drinking beer throughout the day until arriving at the Grand, when he started drinking mixed drinks with various liquors. During conversation with Erickson, officers were informed that the victim had only 2 to 3 drinks while at the Grand. Officers were told that the victim's condition quickly declined, resulting in Sika going in and out of consciousness. Boston Fire and EMS responded to the above to evaluate the victim. However, Sika's condition required him to be further evaluated and transported. Sika was transported to Tufts Medical Center for further evaluation. Sergeant Detective Donlin issued license premise violation number 026996 for serving under 21 alcoholic beverages and intoxicated party on premises. Manager Matt Allen acknowledged receipt of the citation. That's the report.
Thank you very much. Attorney Scanlon, would you like to address the alleged incident?
Please, just a few questions for Sergeant Detective Donlin, if I may.
Sure.
Sergeant Detective, you responded to a radio call that was made from the licensed premises by an employee, correct?
That's right.
And upon arrival, staff informed you that they assisted with safely removing the patron from the bar area, correct?
That's correct.
And according to your report, EMS was called to evaluate the patron.
Yes, they were.
And in your report, in addition to suspected alcohol consumption, it appears you also indicated suspected drug use.
In the report, it says that?
The box is checked on the report on page 2 of 3.
I don't have that. Maybe it's somewhere in that checked off. I didn't author the report, but you talking about where suspected drug use, alcohol consumption. Okay, it looks like Officer Glavin must have marked suspected drug use. Yes.
Okay. To your knowledge, no allegation was made that drug use occurred on the premises, correct?
No, there was not.
And upon information and belief, the subject patron was consuming alcohol prior to arrival at the licensed premises?
That's what we ended up learning, yes.
And upon information and belief, the subject patron consumed 2 or 3 beverages during the approximate 3-hour period he was at the licensed premises?
Yes, that's what was relayed to us.
Thank you. And At all times throughout the course of that evening and any follow-up investigation you had, were staff cooperative with you?
Yes, they were.
And did you, following that evening, did you speak with any staff from the licensed premises regarding this incident?
I spoke to Mr. Kane at some point afterwards, yes.
And what, if any, information did he provide to you?
He had just informed me he had gone just to check and see where these kids were from, but I think he could probably just tell you about that more than I could.
And he was cooperative and helpful to you in your investigation and follow-up regarding this incident?
Yes, he was.
Okay, thank you very much, Sergeant Detective.
Sure.
Madam Chair, members of the board, if I may proceed with questioning for Melton Howard, who is one of the security directors for the licensee. Mr. Howard, please state your name for the record.
My name is Melton Howard,
And what is your title as it relates to your work at the licensed premises?
Director of Security for Big Night.
How long have you been employed by them?
22 years.
Were you working at the licensed premises on the evening in question?
I was not.
Did you become involved after learning of this alleged incident?
Yes, I did. I did the subsequent investigation in relation within days.
As a preliminary matter, can you share with us how many staff were on that evening?
Approximately 26.
And how many patrons total?
575 total, 478 at peak.
And how were staff first alerted to this particular patron mentioned in the police report, Mr. Sika?
Staff had observed his friends assisting him to the elevator. Security staff stepped in and provided medical attention and helped usher him downstairs.
And following this incident, you spoke and interviewed staff that responded to this particular incident?
Yes, I did.
And that included Mr. Allen, who's with us today as well?
Yes.
And did staff speak with any of the patrons' friends that evening?
They did speak to his friends. They said that, he'd only had a couple of drinks. He wasn't showing signs of major intoxication during that time. But they said he just was on the floor and started to lose consciousness.
Did you interview any other staff within the bar area that indicated anything out of the ordinary with this patron or any other patron?
No.
Did you have an opportunity to review surveillance video inside the licensed premises that evening?
Yes, I did.
And did you review footage of the patron entering the venue?
Yes, I did.
Approximately what time was that?
I believe it was around 10:30.
And in reviewing this footage, what, if anything, did you observe?
The video just shows him presenting his ID. The door staff checked his ID, and then he entered the premise. I didn't see any major signs of intoxication upon his entrance into the premise.
What, if anything, did you learn regarding the form of identification he used?
We were able to find out that he did use his brother's ID to get in, who is actually of age. He is a year older. It was a Massachusetts ID, so nothing out of the ordinary for the ID itself.
Following Mr. Sika's entry, were you able to locate him in other parts of the premises on any video?
Yes, on the dance floor and in the bar area as well.
Any observations made regarding any signs of intoxication that you could discern from viewing the video?
Not that I could discern from the video. He was dancing on the dance floor, walked over to the bar area a couple of times.
How many times, if at all, did you observe Mr. Sika being served?
I saw him consuming approximately three drinks. I also saw him consuming multiple waters throughout the night.
And following this incident, can you speak to any updated training that has occurred with staff since this incident?
We did speak with staff directly on paying more attention to the face and certain signs of how that individual looks to the ID. We do extensive training with our door staff Most of them are required at least 2 years of experience. Anyone new brought on has to shadow for a long time before we allow them to check on themselves. We do personal sit-down trainings. We have lots of information on IDs and how we go about those.
Thank you. No further questions for Mr. Howard at this time. I would like to turn it over to Director of Security, or excuse me, Vice President of Security, Charlie Kane, in a few moments as well for testimony regarding his interaction with Boston Police, as well as the subject patron following this particular instance. But if I may briefly, the allegation before us this morning is not for overservice, it's for intoxicated patron, and I think it's worth noting that that distinction is important. It's not a violation in and of itself to open the doors to an intoxicated patron, which you heard from Mr. Howard after interview with staff, that wasn't their observation of this particular patron entering their premises. And it's not a violation in and of itself to have an intoxicated patron within a licensed premises. That said, the licensee does not dispute that the patron was found to be under 21 and that he was served while on the premises. It is worth noting, however, that thousands of people walk through this particular licensee's doors and have been every year for the better part of a decade at this location. I think the board is well aware that this is a rare occurrence with this particular licensee, as is supported by the docket history for this license, as well as their other establishments in the city. Mr. Kane will testify in a few moments that in his 7 years in his role as VP of Security, that he hasn't been before you for this particular type of violation. They are incredibly attentive staff. They do always err on the side of calling for police assistance on their own accord, which is also supported by the docket history for this particular licensee. And while they do not deny that this patron unfortunately slipped by them with a verified real ID of his brother's that strongly resembles him, as you heard from Mr. Howard, there was no other issue with this patron, no overservice, no issue with his demeanor until suddenly there was. Worth noting that all staff, security, bartenders, and servers are tip certified. They constantly do pre-shift regarding signs of intoxication and trained for signs of intoxication, as well as have experienced door staff checking IDs doing so as well. Well, I know the board does have on file the staff training and security procedure. This year, they have made slight tweaks to that to improve those training policies and procedures, which we will update and submit to the board as well. And of note as well, as because I don't think it necessarily came out in Mr. Howard's testimony, while he did have the opportunity to review the video, this video we haven't been able to locate since it was saved in January. I believe it was located. They've changed some systems and moved some offices. This was at the time when Mr. Kane was out on medical leave and they had their director of compliance out on maternity leave. And I think it just got misplaced and lost in the shuffle, but that is part and parcel why we definitely had Mr. Howard here to testify regarding his investigation into the matter, because he diligently pursued it and reviewed it so that they could ascertain any issues with obviously staff that night and with that patron in the premises. At this point in time, I would like to turn it over to Mr. Kane, who can speak directly to his involvement shortly thereafter regarding his interaction with BPD and the subject patron here as well.
Good morning, Attorney Green and members of the board. First off, I want to apologize on the video due to unseen circumstances. It happened, and I believe 99.9% of the time it has not happened, and we have provided video, so I apologize for that. Just to go into my conversations with Detective Sergeant Donlin, we spoke the following day. What I did was I went to the guest list after Melton had spoken to the doorman, Evan, and I spoke to Connor Monroe, who was the guest of one of the DJs that was on the guest list, and I called him to show my concern for Mr. Seeker and to find out some more information if he would assist me, because we wanted to make sure that He was identified and showed ID, how he got into the club, etc. Mr. Monroe called me back with Mr. Seeker on the phone, and he stated he was reluctant because he thought I was law enforcement. I told him I was former law enforcement. This was just an internal investigation on a business, and he stated that he had used his older brother's ID to get in on that night, and he apologized and said he was fine. I asked him if he would do a email statement or something, and he said he would not do that. And the conversation ended somewhat abruptly. Following that, I spoke to Detective Sergeant Donlin and just advised him of what had happened, that he stated that he had showed his brother's ID, a real ID. Also told him that afternoon, myself and Melton Howard were in the Seaport at the venue, and WS is our managing landlord that oversees the outside of the venue. And they shared with us the camera showing us the video of Evan, the door officer, IDing the individuals as they came up to the door. He stopped and ID'd each one of them as they went in. As part of our investigation, I passed that on to Detective Sergeant Donlin. Following that, I just wanted to talk about, as Attorney Scanlon stated, I've been with the company for 7 years and 7 months, and Scorpion Grand does, just on nightlife nights, aside from private events, does over 200,000 people to the door. And I know that we have not been in violation of underage patrons in the establishment to take into consideration. And we get numerous visits from the Boston Licensing Board as well as ABCC, well in operation, that come in and identify patrons for that exact purpose. And we have never been written up by either the ABCC or the Licensing Board at this establishment. And that would be it. Thank you.
Thank you very much with that. We will see if there are any questions from the board at this time. Chairwoman Joyce.
Thank you. I don't know who I should direct my question to, maybe Attorney Scanlon. The police report says there was 2 underage individuals in the group, and we talked about the one that had the verified real ID.
Yes.
What about the other one?
I think Charlie can speak to this regarding the investigation. I know they confirmed in reviewing video that all IDs were checked. This obviously, I mean, I think conceding that this is one that got by them as well.
Well,
Go ahead, Charlie.
I can testify to that. I mean, when this happens, that night of, I was well aware of Mr. Seeker due to the medical issue, and that's all I was aware of. We do not get served the Boston police report until we get either a follow-up from a detective, or we get it from the licensing board relative to a hearing. So I was totally unaware that there was a second patron, but I can state that all the patrons that came in together that night were all ID'd. Unknown what Mr. Erickson showed for an ID, though.
Okay, thank you. Commissioners, do you have any questions?
Are you scanning licenses here?
Yes, we do. Director Howard, if you could address that, how we do it.
And also, just to add on, is there any logging of that scanning?
Yes, we do have a system that logs every ID that we scan. We do scan, the majority of IDs that we scan are out of state IDs. In this case, it was a Massachusetts ID, which in 22 years of experience of checking IDs, Massachusetts is the easiest for us to discern that it is a fake ID, because we do see them constantly. I did speak to the door staff that was on that night. He is an experienced door staff, very good with IDs. He scans out of state IDs. He was very adamant that the IDs in this group were real IDs. I never had a prior issue with him before checking IDs. I do not believe that this ID had been scanned, but it was due to it being a Massachusetts ID and that it was real and had, very much experience checking those IDs.
Okay, any chance you have a log of the Ericsson ID being scanned?
I do not believe we would have that log because we did switch ID scanning systems within the past 3 months. I can try to go back and retrieve from the past company that we were using, but we don't have that software specifically.
Is it your policy not to scan Massachusetts IDs, or are you supposed to be scanning every single ID regardless?
We scan almost every out-of-state ID, and we do scan Massachusetts IDs, but we do not scan every Massachusetts ID.
Okay, and what is the criteria for scanning or not scanning?
Usually it depends on, what the flow of the business is at that time. It depends on the individual, what they look like. It depends on the ID itself. If the picture seems off to us in the ID, even if it's a Massachusetts ID, we'll scan that ID just to corroborate that it is real. Like I said, on most Massachusetts IDs, it's very easy to discern if they're not real or not. If we have a question on the Mass ID, we will scan it.
Does the policy touch on the age of the person? They appear under 25, under 30, they should be scanned?
We do not touch on that policy, no.
Okay, you might want to consider that. My concern here is you're raising essentially, Attorney Scanlon, you're essentially raising the defense of reasonable reliance, but I'm concerned that we don't have a good, we have a statement that he used his brother's ID, but for example, was it expired or not expired, non-expired, things like that. Do these brothers look exactly alike? Are they the same height? Do they have the same eye color? I don't think we have that. So it does concern me. I don't know where I'm going to fall on this defense, but I just wanted to raise the issues with you if you had anything to say about those issues.
I think in regard to the specific ID that was used regarding the victim or the patron, in this case, Mr. Sika, Charlie, correct me if I'm wrong, but it was confirmed that it was a verified real ID that would have scanned if a scanner was used. So I don't know that in this instance, a scanner would have resolved the situation. I think the licensee tries to strike a balance between both the use of the scanner and their due diligence with humans at the door checking IDs because of the increased sophistication of IDs as well that can scan, that are fakes in some form or fashion, whether it's a different person or it appears to be the person at the door, but the information is fraudulent. I don't think, they're admittedly going to be getting it right 100% of the time, but that's what they strive to do in this instance and at this location. To ensure that they're not letting anyone under 21 in.
And if I could just elaborate a little bit, we would not accept an ID that's expired because that's one of the obviously indicators of our training and staff training that, using your brother or sister's IDs, it's expired. We do not accept expired IDs, period, on anybody. And we do identify every single person. We don't do an age. We want every person in our establishment to have a license, some type of identification in the event something would happen. So we're very stringent on IDing. And as far as the expiration, he wouldn't have gone in with that. And I feel like I did my due diligence as a private company and limited in my scope of what I can do. I could not access the RMV database to see license pitches or heights to corroborate this information, unfortunately, in this situation.
Not were the police officers, were you able to see the two IDs, the ID that belonged to the actual patron and also the ID of his brothers? You know, do they have an opinion on whether they looked similar?
Sergeant Detective Donlin, I can recall looking at it briefly, but this was back in January, so I couldn't really honestly tell you, if they looked alike or not. I was just concerned because I think I saw, and once you started getting the information that these kids were underage, that's what, and just getting him the medical attention that he needed anyway. As far as otherwise, I could, try and look into it and see if we can get these registry stuff and compare them and get that to you if you'd like.
Are there any further questions?
Sure.
Okay. Sorry, that was a yes, Commissioner Saxon. Okay. Sergeant Donlin, if possible, the board would appreciate that.
Okay, I'll try and get that for you and forward it to you guys.
Thank you very much.
Sure.
Any further questions from the board at this time?
I would just state, I think if we receive that type of information from the sergeant detective, let's forward it to the licensee as well.
Yes, of course. Any further questions from the board? Board will take this matter under advisement as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
And calling item number 7, Paga Inc. doing business as Icon, located at 100B Warrenton Street. Date of the incident, August 7th, 2025. Persons under 21 in possession of alcohol on premise in violation of Mass General Laws, Chapter 138, Sections 34A, 34C, and 6464A. Who's present on behalf of the licensee?
Good morning, Madam Chairman, Commissioners, and Attorney Green. Mark Evliadis for Paga Inc. I have with me today Kevin Montgomery, who is the head of security for Paga Inc., and Shirok Reza.
Thank you. I do not see Mr. Reza with us, but I do see Mr. Montgomery, who is present on behalf of the Boston Police Department. There's Mr. Reza.
Sergeant Detective Gallagher and Detective Hernandez are.
Thank you very much. Can you all please, are there any other individuals with firsthand knowledge of the alleged incident who wish to testify? Can you all please raise your right hand? No, Mr. Thank you. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
I do.
I do.
Thank you very much. Who will be reading the report into the record for the board?
I can.
Great.
Sergeant Detective William Gallagher reading from a Boston Police Incident Report on Thursday, August 7th, 2025. Sergeant Detective William Gallagher and Detective Eddie Hernandez, assigned to the BPD Licensed Premise Unit, conducted a licensed premise inspection of Icon. As detectives walked into the establishment, detectives observed 2 patrons drinking alcoholic beverages. Detectives noticed these patrons looked young. Detectives asked them to produce identification to confirm their ages. Initially, the patrons stated that they were over 21 years of age. Upon further questioning, it was determined that patrons were under 21 years of age. The underage patrons were positively identified as Miss Amelia Singer, date of birth 5/4/2005, who did have in her possession a valid Massachusetts driver's license belonging to her sister, Colleen Stafford, with a date of birth of 10/26/2000. Miss Yalda Hallstatt, date of birth 1/14/2005, did have in her possession a valid U.S. passport card belonging to her sister, Layla Hidat, date of birth 9/19/2002. Both underage patrons will be summoned to the court for being persons under 21, possession of alcohol, and false or misuse of an ID or license. The 2 older siblings are also summoned to the court for assisting in purchase of alcohol under 21. Detectives brought this to the attention of the person in charge, Mr. Kevin Montgomery. As a result, what detectives had observed, Sergeant Gallagher issued license premise number 019681 for persons under 21, possession of alcohol on premise. Mr. Montgomery signed for and accepted the notice. That's all I have.
Thank you very much. Attorney Evliadis, would you like to address the alleged incident?
Yes, first, Sergeant Detective Gallagher, did the staff and management of Paga Inc. cooperate on the night in question?
Yes, sir, they did.
Thank you very much. I'd like to ask Kevin Montgomery to state his full name and position for the record.
Kevin Montgomery, Director of Security, Paga.
How long have you been there, sir?
Over 20 years.
Were you working on the night in question?
Yes, I was.
And could you please tell the board what our ID policy is?
Just like before, every ID is checked. Everybody that comes in the building is checked. If there's questions, we will scan. I mean, we turn away a lot of false IDs and we send them on their way. These two ones happen to be legitimate. So they got in. I mean, they were the siblings of the persons that they had acquired the licenses from, and there was a strong resemblance. I mean, I really don't have any excuse to say other than the fact that we try to do our due diligence and making sure everything's legitimate. But
I mean, just after the incident, did you have a meeting with your security staff and the bartenders at the establishment?
Oh, absolutely. I told my door staff that, we always have new trainings and everything else, but I just told them that we have to be we have to be as diligent in verifying the faces, even though they might be similar in presentation, but we have to make sure that they are, as well as making sure that their IDs are valid.
And do you scan IDs?
If needed. Not every ID is going to be scanned like Massachusetts IDs are very rarely scanned and cut because they're legitimate. I mean, we all live in Massachusetts. We all know what they look like. And but if there's something from out of state, we will scan it, and we also ask them for a backup from something from out of state.
Both of these IDs, one was a Massachusetts driver's license, correct?
Yes.
And the other one was a U.S. passport card?
Yes.
Thank you. I have no further questions for this witness. I think that at this point in time, as he stated, the siblings presented verifiable, valid Massachusetts ID and U.S. passport ID with a very similar resemblance to their siblings. The establishment has a strict policy of having no one come in without an ID and a strict policy to make sure that nobody is drinking underage there. I would say that the establishment did the best they could on this particular evening and cooperated with the police. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll see if the board has any questions at this time, starting with Chairwoman Joyce.
Thank you. I don't have any questions.
Commissioner Curran, Commissioner Saxon, any questions?
Sergeant Gallagher, regarding the IDs and the resemblances and any other red flags that might have came up with the IDs and the individuals that were using them. Do you have anything to state?
Well, they were older siblings. I mean, one of them was 5 years older than the other one, so that was a red flag to us. Also, the U.S. passport cards, they don't scan. There's no scan mechanism. There's no barcode in the back, and really, honestly, who has them? We've been alerted by bar staff, in particular, not them, but other bar staff, that they're seeing an increase on counterfeit U.S. passport cards, just as the IDs. They come from the same website. And like I said, they're not scannable. Once we saw that and the age difference, we talked to the kids. It was an 18+ event with the over 21s cordoned off to where they could have alcohol. So just the big age discrepancies. And we started talking to them, the girls. They came clean after we confronted them with what we saw. And they could not provide any backup to the nature of that, other than what they had. There was nothing else in their wallet to confirm that they were the individuals on the IDs. So that being said, they were an easy find for us. Mr. Montgomery was there with us too that night, and they cooperated, and we talked about it, and that's why we're here.
Okay.
Sorry.
Sorry. Yeah, I mean, for the premises regarding the passport cards, do you have anything regarding what you're going to do about accepting them? And do you believe that under the statute, a passport card is one of the forms of ID that you can reasonably rely on, or is it limited just to the actual passport?
we generally we do take passports, those are all right, but we've been told that passport cards are just as legitimate as passports. So I don't know where our position is on refusing them, especially when it's actually you and you're actually over 21. So it's kind of that area that maybe the city can kind of tell us what we should be doing with those, but as of now, we're still accepting them if they're real.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if there's any guidance from ABCC off the top of my head, but on the face of the statute, I don't think passport card would be inclusive. I think the statute says passport. Secretary?
Yeah, a passport card for a passport issued by the United States can be relied upon. For any other country, it has to be the passport itself. So a passport card is on the list of acceptable identifications that can be relied upon if it is a passport card for a passport issued by the United States.
All right, thank you. I'm sorry I didn't know that at the top of my head. But we do have to confirm that it is in fact legitimate, right? Okay, but Detective Sergeant Gallagher, it was legitimate, right? Even though you have this other issue about. Okay, so that's good. Thank you. I'm glad. And so once again, Sergeant, not a 5-inch height discrepancy and nothing like that really jumped out, right?
No, I mean,
different eyes, different colored hair, anything.
There was a familiar representation. I mean, his older sisters, obviously.
Yeah.
Like I said, there was discrepancies in ages. Usually, you don't have 21 and 26-year-olds hanging out together, and there were certain red flags that popped up. Like you can't scan these cards, so if they asked for a backup besides a credit card, I mean, these people would not have been able to produce anything other than the fraudulent IDs, or not fraudulent, but the IDs belonging to other people. They wouldn't be able to produce anything. And, that's how we caught them.
Okay. Thank you, though.
Nothing additional for me.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Are there any further questions from the board?
Thank you, folks.
The board will take this matter under advisement then. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Those are all
Thank
the
you.
items before the board this morning. The board is set to vote Thursday, October 23rd at 10 a.m. Notice has been posted to the city's website that will adjourn this hearing. Thank you all and enjoy the rest of your day.
You too. Thank you.